From the lush green lands to the cascading waterfalls, wonders of the world, the oldest habitat of territories on Earth, rich cultural heritage, a continent of 1.1 billion people, second largest and most populous, a continent pregnant with possibilities, home to 30% of Earth's mineral resources, 50% of its people under 25 years. Africa, the land of the great. Our spirit resilient. Our enterprise profitable. Our future inspiring. Africa is inspiring. Be inspired.
Dignity, that's what separates humans from all other forms of animals. It's an inherent right. As long as you're human, Homo sapiens sapien, you have a right to dignity. It's a foremost right. It's a right that we must all respect. And it's a right we all crave the respect of. Every human being, male, female, old, child, rich, poor, is entitled to dignity, even in the institution of marriage. Cultures that suggest that women are not entitled to dignity, or that there are degrees of dignity for classes of human beings, for the men, for the rich, trickling down to the poor in degrees, or to women and children, is not a human culture. We must change the narrative that we are building today. We must leave a culture of dignity in our children. Only when we treat one another with dignity will we see one another as human. Only then will we be human. Domestic violence has no place in a dignified society, in a civilized society. Remember, next time you try to justify acts of violence, whether domestic or sexual or social, in the public space, that dignified people do not subscribe to violence. It is not our African culture. We are a dignified and proud people. That part of our narrative we must remember. Rise in the spate of violence generally in Nigeria. Domestic violence and sexual violence every day in the media. It's time to change that narrative. It's time to remind ourselves of who we are. Women, remember that first you are human and you have a right to dignity. You have a right to walk away from anything that suggests you are less than human or you deserve lower degrees of dignity. Our laws protect your dignity. Our human rights are all about your life and your dignity. Do not give this up for any reason. When we stay silent in the face of abuse, when we look the other way, we indirectly are part of that abuse cycle. When we stigmatize victims of abuse, whether sexual violence or domestic violence, when we lay the responsibility at the doors of victims rather than perpetrators, then we have participated in that crime itself. When a woman, a girl, a child is raped, and we talk about their clothing, rather than to address the problem, which is the crime of rape itself, and deal with the perpetrator, we are a part of that violence. When we as law enforcement officers step back when cases are reported and claim it is within private matters, when a battered woman comes to the station, we are a part of that violence. To end the violence, we must all raise our voices. When we see what is wrong, we say no. And we demand for justice even when the victim is too weak to speak. Then and only then will change come to a society. You don't have to wait till it's your child, till it's your wife, till it's your sister, till it's your mother. It starts with you, and it starts now. You must speak out against violence. There's more to you than that. Your life did not end with that abuse. You are not the abuse. And you should feel no sense of shame. It's your abuser who should be ashamed. You have a life ahead of you, and you must live it to prove wrong every wrong that's been done to you. And you can. And many women have done that before you, and you can. Because there's so much strength in you, so much more than you see today. There was a yesterday. There will be a tomorrow. Do not wallow in today. You must look forward. You must move forward.